group of Jewish friends, NextGen is the place for you. And you need to RSVP to Neil, who's right back there in the red shirt. Okay?
The first round is on me.
And the first round's on Cantor. Yay, okay. Last thing is, please join us next Friday night for the Serenity Shabbat services and the changing of the mantle at 7 p.m. And then on Saturday night, we're going to have the Slichot drum circle under the stars at 7:30 p.m. And those two things pretty much start us into the high holidays. Okay? Thank you. Good Shabbat. Good Shabbos.
We call it high holiday insomnia. That's what the rabbis in Cantor are feeling right now. Let us take a deep breath as we enter into Shabbat tonight. We are beginning to celebrate the bar mitzvah of Blake Karen. He's over here. He's going to help us lead services, and he'll be called to the Torah tomorrow morning. And a little tribute tonight, not a Beatles Shabbat, so to speak. I mean, I need the band for that. But on short notice, a couple of tribute songs and words for the Queen of Soul. So you'll catch that. You'll catch on real fast. We begin on page 131. Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash. For our candle blessings, and we bring in the light of Shabbat. Gutierrez and Nancy to light the Shabbat candles in honor of Blake becoming a bar mitzvah. Nancy through Kevin. We turn to page 124. We read responsively at the bottom. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. We turn to page 138 to welcome the Shabbat bride in special fashion. This was parodied last week by Julie Silver. Verse 9. Say hello to the person next to you, give them a Shabbat Shalom. Maybe you don't know them, you have to introduce yourself. And When you're ready, we turn to page 142 for Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hashalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Please rise for the Baruch Hu. Page 146. You can be seated. We read together at the bottom of page 149.
This is an hour of change.
Within it,
Stand uncertain on the border of life. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of life. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over?
Baruch atah Adonai Hamari Baravim. Out of curiosity, this is kind of the end of our bringing back the classics to Friday night services. Did everybody enjoy the classics? Should there be a few that stay in the services? Okay, so hands for traditional melody, no such thing. Messina is what I call it, from Mount Sinai melodies. And you want a mixture. Oh, I like that idea. I think we'll go to that. I like that. Ruth wins. Okay, very good. Well, I hope you've enjoyed bringing back some of the oldies this summer. This one is an oldie, but not from our prayer book. A little intro into Shema.
Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
We continue on page 154 with Be'ahavta.
Be'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lemcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meyotecha v'hayu ha'dvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha b'shinata levanecha b'divrota
Page 159. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home, to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Join me tonight on the Bima. She was a surprise guest, so I threw a couple prayers at her. Is this the last time we're going to have you for a while? This is Joanna Mann, going back to college. Hashki Beinu Adonai, Eloheinu L'Shalom, V'Hamidenu Shomrenu L'Chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkimeinu Adonai, Eloheinu L'Shalom, V'Hamidenu Shomrenu L'Chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkimeinu Adonai, Eloheinu L'Shalom, V'Hamidenu Shomrenu Page 162, the Shamru. Another special guest, not going to college yet. All right, you know the moves, right? Vishamru b'nei Israel, et hashavat, la'asot et hashavat ledorotam, berit olam. rise for the Amidah on page 164.
What a sweetheart.
We can continue in silent devotion through page 180, using the words on the right or the left side of the page, or the words within your heart. When you have completed your prayers, please be seated. We think of those who are in the bed of illness and in need of our healing prayer. If you would like to follow along with the words, you can follow on page 371. At this time, if there are people in your life that you're thinking of and you'd like to say their name out loud, please rise and say their name. We rise in solidarity for all those who have no one to say Misha for them. Please be seated. So you might be thinking, what was the cantor thinking, putting some Aretha Franklin to Lvcnt and to introduce Shema? Did anyone know what songs that they were? Everyone know what songs they were? First one was, and the second one, obviously. I say a little prayer for you, which was done by many people. So what does the Queen of Soul have to do with our Parsha, Ki Tetzei, this week? Well, actually a lot. I'll give you a hint. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Two of the most thought-provoking things in the Torah are the mitzvot about moral values and the way women are treated. According to Maimonides, this Torah portion contains 72 mitzvot, most of which are concerned with the moral values that God would like to see instituted in the Promised Land. These laws are meant to help people consciously focus their actions in such a way that their society will become a place in which people care about one another. They are meant to promote a style of living whereby people are not cut off from one another. They are meant to inspire connection and engagement. In Parshat Ki Tetzei, we learn that we are supposed to behave in this way not only toward our kin, but also toward the stranger and the orphan, toward the widow, and yes, even toward our enemies. Aretha's music moved us to reach out to those in our midst, be bold and be kind. But on a variation from the Torah, she also demanded R-E-S-P-E-C-T in return. She said, "What you want, baby, I got it. All I'm asking is for a little respect in return." On the contrary, in this week's Torah portion, we learn that even if we haven't received that respect, we've been wronged or someone is a criminal, we must dig down deep and find the positive. Also, one of the biggest themes in the Parsha is that whatever you do not be indifferent. This really turns the scene towards Elul, the special month that we're in, where our hearts turn inward. We come clean with ourselves, on the error of our ways, we ask for forgiveness, and we make room for love and understanding. We literally cannot sit idly by in indifference, or Yom Kippur will come and go without the potential to better ourselves. Aretha said it best in Ebony magazine in 1964. "It's the rough side of the mountain that's the easiest to climb. The smooth side doesn't have anything for you to hang on to." Meaning, we must embrace life's difficulties and lift ourselves higher and higher. We can use Elul to stare our mountain of a year in the face and say, there have been peaks and valleys. I could have done better. There are no regrets, only teshuvah, repentance, return, and forward motion. May we all spend the month focused on this work. There's another theme that both Aretha and our Torah portion share, taking our feminist side pretty seriously because perhaps she was feeling diminished by the male species and looking for moments to embrace her natural womanhood. The Torah was written in a much different time and has been interpreted in various ways regarding the role of the woman. No matter how I looked at this parsha, the role of the woman in her marriage, divorce, how she should live, said nothing. Like, I am a diva, hear me roar. I guess our author could have really used an Aretha Franklin in his or her time. Instead, this Torah text was clearly written as if the male needed the woman. She was his property and would serve him as such. It was the man's decision who he marries, who he could divorce, if he found her obnoxious, basically nothing about mutual respect, which is a pillar in how we view marriage today. Therefore, I have a huge problem with what I'm reading. So if you're thinking, what's wrong with the cantor? She can't disagree with the Torah. It's actually totally okay. In fact, encouraged to disagree with the text. I looked to the rabbis to understand this whole divorce situation. They actually said, if we look close enough, divorce can be requested by either party on grounds of social or sexual compatibility, distasteful feelings, infertility, one spouse refusing to have children, refusing to work in order to provide support, mental illness, a chronic disease that makes sharing physical intimacy impossible, unfaithfulness, conversion to another religion, abandonment, or abuse. So I'm glad that we've decided that it goes both ways, man or woman, on this request, but how many of these things have we actually felt in our own marriage with our own spouse? Where is the line that says for better or for worse, richer or poorer, sickness and health? It's not here. They do realize marriages are difficult and we should see them through before resorting to divorce. Okay, well again, this was then, and that was then, and this is 2018. Marriage exists for similar reasons, but with dozens of factors. I will say, after further study, I found a couple glimmers of silver lining for the ladies in the story. It had to be there, right? Here's one. A newly married man is exempt from army service for 1 year, the first year of their marriage. Okay, so I like that. Still a little sexist, as if the woman can't take care of herself, but kind in that their relationship needs to flourish together before in this first crucial year. Also, it is reiterated that husband and wife are each other's helpers, mutual support, and are two souls intertwined. The Zohar goes as far to say that this text reminds us that marriage must exist because God's presence dwells in the love between two people. This is beautiful and sacred, and I'm choosing to cling to that. I'm sure Aretha would concur and say, love is the only thing. May we find a love that leaves us laughing on the outside, be our soul serenade, leave us in a one-room paradise, and gives us complete satisfaction. May the Queen of Soul's memory and her music be a blessing, and may our teachings guide us to dig deeply, love wholeheartedly, and treat ourselves and others with total RESPECT. Shabbat Shalom. So we begin to conclude our service on page 586, and we rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot adama, shelo sam chalkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo
We remain standing on page 598 for the Mourner's Kaddish. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We think of those recently lost: Anna Carlton, Annette Israel, Kenneth Karen, Russell Fletcher, Odette Dagan, Braden Liu, George Levine, Al Nakow, Rebecca Ogburn, Francis Maggio, Mark Miller, and Gemma Wolfe. And we observe the yahrzeits of Alfred Butwinick, David Kadish, Fanny Harach, Mo Cohen, Robert Joseph Colbert, Diane Conlon, Ida Ruth Cowett, Grace M. Cummins, Madeline Eisenhart, Esther Engel, Bessie Frieden, Abraham Gellin, David Glickman, Lewis Gordon, Joshua Kolodner, Stanley Klein, Florence Lane, Alan Joseph Martin, Lena Miller, Abraham Nash, Caleb Rakov, Abe Saltzman, Stephen Server, Arnold Smith, Jeffrey Smith, Eleanor Spector, Milton Sturman, Ella Sundilson, Ann Wasserman, Celia Watman, Barbara Willison, Albert Zalato. And if there are any names that you wish to recall, any souls you wish to recall tonight for Kaddish or Yortzeit, please say their name this time. think of all those and all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. Page 598. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma, Dibra, Chirutei, Be'amlich Malchutei, B'chayechon, B'yomechon, B'chayei, Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Bizman Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah, M'varach, Le'olam, L'alnei Almaya, Yitvarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudsha, B'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel and all the world, to which we say, Amen. Please be seated briefly. And we call forward the Karen family, led by Blake, to join us in leading the Kiddush and Motzi. And anyone who started religious school this past week also. And anyone, come on Douglas, what are you waiting for? Let's see, anyone who has an anniversary in the month of August? So we want to thank Ricky on the piano, and Dell, our shamus, and Roberta and Neil, our staff tonight, as well as everyone who greeted at the door and our ambassadors. And we want to thank the Karen family for hosting the Oneg this evening in honor of Blake becoming a bar mitzvah. And I'm wondering if I missed any words. Well, thank you all for being here. If there is anyone who is brand new tonight, this is their first time or their first time in a long time joining us, if you are not so shy, would you rise and introduce yourselves so that we know who you are? This is a typical time of year where people are new and coming to our community just in time for high holidays.
First time I found myself as new. My name is Leslie, and while I did come many years ago, I am back now.
Welcome back.
My name's Lori Farrar, and I'm visiting from California. Welcome.
Welcome.
We're the Weiss family, and we just recently moved to Henderson from California.
Nice.
Welcome. Yeah.
Welcome. Henderson's better than Summerlin, so you made a good choice. Sorry, Summerlin people. Okay.
I didn't say that.
grew up in Summerlin, I mean, I go on both sides. Welcome.
My name's Haley Lvcnt. I joined a couple weeks ago.
Nice, welcome.
My name is Roger Douglas. I have attended a few of the fun things here, the Beatles show and a couple other things, but I've never been to a Friday night service. This is my first time.
Your first, I think Rabbi calls it vanilla when it's like pretty, like, not like Beatles Shabbat, whatever's not the opposite of that, yeah. So again, next Friday night is Serenity Shabbat in the main sanctuary. It's a really cool service. We dim the lights, it's really beautiful, everybody gets a chance to light a Shabbat candle, we use visual tefillah, and it's a preparation service, a service that we really utilize we look inside of our hearts, and we have lots of reflection and beautiful prayer song to guide us into the High Holidays, and it's the first of the bookend. There'll be one at the end of the High Holidays as well. And then on Saturday night, we have a drum circle Slichot, and that's really fun. It's a cool experience. Again, that's at 7:30 next Saturday night out on the patio. So, if you want to join us for Torah study at 8:45 in the morning, I'll be leading it. And then we have Minyan at 9:45, and then it's Blake's bar mitzvah. So please join us for Shabbat. And we're going to close with Osei Shalom. Please join us for an oneg in, I think, the social hall, right? Okay, an ice cream oneg. It's, I heard, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Osei Shalom, Bibroma, Uyasei Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al Yisrael, Ve'yimeru, Amen. Osei Shalom, Bibroma, Uyasei Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al Yisrael, Ve'yimeru, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.